a foothold became established. So this is a doorway. When she gave it permission to be intimate with her, even though she never wanted to be raped, the voice had convinced her that, hey, I'm good for you.
Hello mga ka-Faith, my name is Adrian Milag and welcome again to my vlog. At kung first time mo dito sa aking YouTube channel, make sure na mag-subscribe ka at click mo yung notification bell button sa baba ng video na to para lagi kang updated sa mga bagong vlog na gagawin ko. And today mga ka-Faith ay i-share ko sa inyo yung kinat ko na clip doon sa naging interview ko kay Daniel Frank na isang deliverance member ng isa sa sikat na exorcist priest sa Amerika na si Father Gary Thomas. Shinare niya yung isa sa mga naging patient nila na na-handle nila na na-possess ng demonyo dahil, alam nyo, paano? Dahil sa isang dating apps. Okay mga ka-faith, dating apps. And this month of February, alam naman natin na Valentine's Day at Love Month, yung tungkol sa pag-ibig, okay? Yung paghanap ng one true love, paghanap ng magiging jowa mo, paghahanap ng magiging kapartner mo sa buhay. Sa mga single ladies dyan or sa mga single dyan na mga naghahanap ng kanilang partner sa kanilang buhay. There are so many sharks in the sea. Mag-ingat po tayo sa mga taong nami-meet natin sa internet. Ang mga taong nami-meet natin sa internet, most of the time, they are a pretender. Kasi, hindi mo sila kilala. They are a great pretender of being someone na hindi naman sila. Kaya sobra tayong mag-iingat dyan mga ka-faith, especially sa mga dating apps. May mga kilala ko na nakilala nila ang kanilang asawa sa dating apps at okay naman. Pero hindi lahat ay ganun ang magiging future nyo. Hindi lahat ay ganun ang magiging result. Hindi ko nire-recommend na diyan ka maghanap ng asawa mo or mapapangasawa mo or magiging jowa mo. Hindi po. Okay? Kaya nga, alam nyo, sa mga single na mga tao dyan, palagi ko ina-advise na alamin mo dapat yung non-negotiables mo. Ano tong mga non-negotiable? Ito yung mga bagay na nandyan sa tao na yan, kahit anong mangyari, kahit guwapo pa yan, kahit siya pa'y pinakamayaman sa mundo, kung wala yung non-negotiable sa kanya, ay hindi mo dapat yan papasukin sa iyong buhay. For example, di ba, yung number one na non-negotiable mo is God-fearing. Tapos, yung nakilala mo yung tao na yung mabait naman, okay naman, mayaman, guwapo, pero hindi naniniwala sa Diyos. 80s. Pakakasalan mo ba yun? Hindi, kasi wala siya sa non-negotiable mo. Napakahalaga niya mga ka-faith. Okay? Kung ayaw mo maging miserable ang buhay mo, pag ikaw ay nakapag-asawa, kailangan mag-stick ka sa non-negotiable. Okay? Kasi yan yung magiging compass mo eh. Kasi kung pagpapadala ka lang sa emosyon mo, dahil tayong mga tao, we make a foolish decision because of emotion. Okay? So, para hindi ka maligaw at magkamali sa taong pipiliin mo, mapapangasawa mo, ay dapat mag-stick ka sa non-negotiable mo. Okay? Yung non-negotiable, like yung virtue, yung character, yung values, it's about yung kung ano siya on the inside. Yung outside, yan yung mga negotiable. Kunyari, gusto mo maputi. Pero yung nanliligaw sa'yo ngayon, moreno. Pero nandun sa kanya na negotiable, like God-fearing, magalang, respectful, humble, mabait. So, pinag-iisipan pa ba yan, di ba? So, ganun yun mga ka-faith eh. Okay, kaya ang dating apps ay hindi ko talaga yan nire-recommend. Kung hahanap ka ng partner sa buhay, even the Christian dating apps, Okay, kaya nga mamaya i-discuss ni Daniel Frank, even sa Christian dating app ay delikado din. May mga taong mga manluloko din dyan. Okay? Kaya ako ay recommend na imbis na virtual ka maghanap ng partner mo, di ba join ka ng community like, di ba yung mga charismatic community. Mag-join ka sa church nyo kung may mga activities. Okay? So, pumunta ka sa clubs or groups or community na alam mo may mga maayos na tao. May mga maayos na single lady or single men na alam mo na mahal si Lord. Madali lang naman yun di ba? Kasi kung pupunta ka ng beer house, pupunta ka ng mga gimikan or alam mo na, yung mga hindi magandang influence sa mga club or mga hindi magandang influence na isang grupo, alam mo naman kung ano yung mga mamimit mo sa mga lugar na yan. Okay, hindi ako nagja-judge ng ibang tao, pero ang point ko dito, kung hahanap ka ng partner mo sa buhay, ay please lang, wag na sa mga dating apps. Okay? Kasi maraming pretender dyan. Yung naging interview ko kay Daniel Frank, dito na-share niya na na-possess ang isang babae dahil sa isang dating app website. Okay, so panoodin nyo to mga ka-faith and make sure na i-share po natin to sa ating mga friends and relatives. Thank you.
This particular case is very similar to those which Father Randy and Father Gary had seen. And I'm not allowed to talk about those, but this particular one is a parallel case. It's really just a copy of it. It happened to be a middle-aged woman. She was very intelligent, introverted, and she'd become very lonely in her life. She purchased a $1 phone app that advertised companionship in the spiritual world. And she found it very appealing since she knew that she would never have to meet anyone face to face and could, possibly find a companion on her terms. What she didn't realize, and what a lot of people don't realize even when they go to a porn site, is that once you purchase something or you press the yes button, it becomes a binding contract, not only in the physical world, but in the spiritual world. So the first thing that happened with her, she was instructed to listen to a recording on the phone app. And to her, it sounded just like static. In fact, it was rather annoying, but she listened to it several times and then decided to record it. And playing it back over and over again, she noticed that she could hear voices mixed in with the static. And she began to realize that she was receiving subliminal messages. And these would be through frequencies that would then go into the subconscious mind. The following day, after she kind of realized this was happening, she heard a man's voice externally.
Whoa.
And at first, it seemed very comforting to her, but it wasn't long before the entity had asked her to invite him in and to have an intimate relationship with her. Now, she was a recluse kind of at this point, and she found it very appealing to be able to have someone at least to communicate with, to have closeness with. So everything seemed to be very harmless in the beginning until the entity had raped her.
Wow.
She described it that it was a physical rape. The entity appeared and had raped her. The demon had been, at that point then, been given a toehold in her life because she actually purchased the app. A foothold became established. So this is a doorway. When she gave it permission to be intimate with her, even though she never wanted to be raped, the voice had convinced her that, hey, I'm good for you, and that all I want is to do the best for you. So she started to believe the demon's lies and began questioning, well, maybe God sent me this angel and, to kind of keep me company and to have this intimate relationship. but unfortunately, it turned out to be very violent. Once she said yes to the consensual sex, the demon was unstoppable and had been raped multiple times. Now, the demon's first goal in this was to establish a sexual bond. So there's bond, links, and ties. A bond is the strongest. It's like welding two pieces of metal together. It's very difficult to break. She realized at that point that she had been tricked. The second goal of the demon was to do one of two things. If the woman was premenopausal, it was to get them to have children so that the demon could then invade the offspring to become possessed. In her case, she was postmenopausal. So the demon's goal was suicide, was to have her to commit suicide. Now, there's kind of a lot, there's more to the story than what I'm explaining, but eventually the woman had yielded her free will to the demon to the point that she became possessed for over 5 years. The last 3 years were the worst for her. Eventually, through deliverance prayers, she gained enough strength to be able to remove the app from the phone. She renounced all of her ungodly ties. The priest and the team had prayed over her for two days, 2 very long days. She started to go back to Mass, went to confession, and within that period of time, within the 2 days, she was actually liberated and was free from the demon.
There are dating app that Christian dating app. Can you comment about this one, brother Daniel?
So the dating apps that I'm familiar with, which are kind of Christian based, many times when you meet someone on that site, they may have other links that you go to. It's usually in those links that you will find frequencies, vibrations that are actually coming through, which will create this more of a hypnotic state, very similar to what you would find on a porn site or in a video game. So that's kind of how they were used. And we've actually had clients that this had happened to. They were on a seemingly very innocent dating site.
Wow.
And people that they were talking to said, well, download this or let's talk kind of on this other site. And that's usually where what will happen.
So the way you say it, you are not recommending it. If you want to find a partner, don't go
You
to
have to be very, well, I don't know, you have to be very careful. I guess when you do it, you really have to ask for a spiritual bubble to be placed around you. So I usually do a prayer before I do any type of electronic communication for a spiritual
Can you share
bubble.
to us what prayer
It's just one that I make up. Father Randy has done many times at our meetings, where you're just asking for a spiritual bubble to be placed around you. You're asking for anything that's unholy, ungodly, or unclean to be bound, loosened, and sent to the foot of the cross of Christ, to be dealt with by Jesus, our Savior, when and if He wills do that. And then that spiritual bubble ideally will protect you. It's usually you ask Saint Michael for a spiritual bubble to prevent anything from affecting us. And we ask that also for around any communication lines, any electronics, any receivers, any transmitters, anything like that.
So it's okay to go in some Christian dating, but you just need to be discerning and be careful on the people that you are talking to, right?
Yes. There's lots of
Faith,
sharks.
Brother Adrian Milag here, and today I want to promote the devotion to Our Lady of the End Times. Kung di ka familiar sa Our Lady of the End Times, this was painted by Brother Edsol Celestial. Brother Edsol C. Celestial was inspired to paint a portrait of Mary that combines the 7 popular titles of Mary, namely the Immaculate Conception, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, Our Lady of Lourdes, Our Lady of Miraculous Medal, the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Mary Help of Christians. Good news sa itong painting na to. The devotion to Our Lady of the End Times, mismo yung painting and the prayer, meron po itong imprimatur by Bishop Geraldo Alminanza. Okay, so if you want to avail this canvas print of the Our Lady of the End Times, ilalagay ko yung link sa taas or sa baba ng video na to. Okay, so thank you and God bless. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope na na-bless at na-inspire ka dito sa aking vlog. Make sure na i-like mo at mag-comment ka sa baba ng video na to at mag-subscribe ka sa aking YouTube channel para lagi kang updated sa mga bagong vlog na gagawin ko. At huwag mo din kakalimutan na i-like ang aking page. So this been Adrian Milag, encouraging you to lead your life to the fullest. God bless you more abundantly.